introduce a speaker. And that's because our speaker today, Eileen Meckley, has been kind of, I'm not going to say hiding. She's been giving us these little pearls of wisdom over the last 6 months since she has joined us. And Eileen is a nationally known author and trainer, mother of 5, and grandmother of 7, which gives her the right to talk to all of us anyway, right there, just out of the gate. Mother of 5 and grandchildren. All right, Eileen was a President's Club Achiever 14 times in her numerous incentive trips from her company. She also earned the Hall of Fame and Woman of the Year honors from her company. Having a desire to help others become successful, she began teaching entrepreneurs. Eileen has created 1 DVD, 11 CDs, authored 5 books, developed many tools that assist entrepreneurs all over the country to be successful. Eileen has taught thousands of people representing hundreds of companies the language that has enabled them to maximize their skills, resulting in successful businesses. The results achieved by those who have attended her seminars have been extraordinary. Eileen Meckley, a language coach and attitude trainer. I needed you 10 years ago for my kids, my goodness. She provides all the tools necessary to navigate through the bumps and roadblocks you face when building your business and overcoming any of life's challenges, and helps you get you cruising down the highway of success. I love it. All right, 11 years ago, Eileen Meckley was traveling home from a seminar when an 18-wheeler hit her head on. We're going to learn things about Eileen today that we didn't know, right? This accident resulted in her spending 5.5 months recovering in the hospital. Eileen Meckley broke virtually every bone in her body and nearly had her foot amputated. She underwent 8 major surgeries and countless physical therapy sessions, including learning how to walk again. Even in her most challenging days in the hospital, she never let a severed foot or broken bones shatter her dreams. Eileen was forced to halt her passion for traveling and could no longer give her motivational speeches across the country. It was at that moment Eileen's journey could have taken 2 different roads. She could have let this accident divert her from her passions. Fortunately, Eileen chose a recovery road, motivated by her desire to get back to her passion for helping others succeed. Do we not just love this woman? Thank you, Eileen. Please, the floor is yours, ma'am.
Thank you.
I am so thankful you're here today and have all the time you need.
All right. Well, thank you. And I'm excited to be here. I'm going to first tell you why I'm here, actually. And first of all, before I start, Helen, happy birthday. I love when you welcome us. I love when you start us off. So happy birthday. Then let's talk about a few stories today. I actually was speaking around the country, running a business, doing everything that we normally would do when COVID hit. And then when COVID hit, I thought, wow, okay, now what? How do I help the people I'm coaching do what I've expected them to do to be successful, which is to reach out, meet new people, reconnect to people when no one can really be there in person to have those warm feelings that they can show. And so I was saying about, what are we going to do? How can we do this? I really got to come up with something. When all of a sudden, Star actually reached out to my husband, Bob, who makes virtual business cards, to make some virtual business cards. And my job is to proofread them. So he hands me these 2 cards. And if Star, you're on here, I apologize if I'm not sounding excited about proofreading your cards. But he said to me, I have one for a plumbing company for you to proofread and one for banner season. And I really thought, oh, that's great. Okay, sure. Plumbing company and banners. So I'll proofread them. So I did the proofreading of the plumbing first because I choose to always do things that I don't think I'll like the most first to get them over with. And then I started reading about banner seasons. And I turned to Bob and I said, I'm going to call this lady. He said, why? What, did I leave something out? Why are you calling her? I said, because this is an answer to some prayers about what we can do to help people still give those warm feelings, build a business with caring about people and value. This is incredible. This is an opportunity. So when I talked to Star, she was great. And she said, well, I'm sort of new at this. I haven't done a lot with it. Would you like to talk to someone else? And immediately I thought, oh, great, this is going to be some salesperson. And, I'm really not into this, direct sales because I already have a business. I work with direct salespeople. I am not building another business. Yet I'm always curious. That's one thing about me. I will listen and I want to hear. So I said, okay, Star, sure. Who do you want, who do you want me to talk to? She said, Casey, this person, Casey. And I thought, okay, here goes. Casey's going to, oh, he's another speaker, Eileen. You'll love him. Oh, yeah, sure. I'll love him. Okay, great. Well, Casey and I spoke a few hours later. And I did love him. And he was so caring and he was so kind. And what I loved is he listened. He asked me questions. There was not one time I felt that he was selling to me. So the most important success thought I can give you right here through this story is, are you listening and are you asking questions? It's not about what you know. It's about finding out what someone needs. And Casey was excellent, and you can see why he's so successful. Well, then it didn't stop there, because I, be myself, was a little hesitant and thought, okay, this sounds really good. Talk to Bob, Okay, Bob says, well, could be good. And I'm like, yeah, and he offered to let me talk to the CEO, Joe Kinnemore. I said, who knows what he'll be like, but maybe he'll be good. And this is my thought, and I think this is important. Casey was so excited about the company. I loved everything he said. I loved how he treated me. I loved the way he asked questions of me. And I thought, he's probably a lot like Casey, and Casey's probably a lot like him. Because in order to really build a business, you have to have that feeling about a company. There has to be a passion about the people who are running the company. So I thought, okay, here goes. And I think Joey spoke, and then within an hour, we were off, and I had signed up to be a part of this. Then I said, okay, well, I coach a lot of people, and I'm not going to talk about this, program or affiliate. I'm not taking them away from the business they're doing, because, really, this is for them. And I focused on that. And so that's what I did. So I started working with the people I was coaching. I was sharing the program. I loved the program for myself. And there's a couple of reasons why I loved the program. First of all, was the fact that I spent 5.5 months in a hospital. That is a long time. You can see I still get emotional. People ask me all the time, how did you do it? And I think, I don't know. I have no idea how I did it. But I was blessed to have wonderful parents. I was divorced at the time. And when the accident happened, I was speaking in Memphis, Tennessee. And after this speaking, I was exhausted, and we were going to catch a plane, and we had to drive an hour and a half to get to the airport. And so I had said to the person driving the car, I think I'm just going to relax. I'm going to put my legs up on the dashboard and just take a little rest. Well, unfortunately, I was rudely awakened by an 18-wheeler truck who crossed a highway and hit us head on at 65 miles an hour. He had chosen to drive 4 hours over the legal limit, and he fell asleep. And so when he woke up, he had his foot on the accelerator instead of the brake and hit us. So I literally was in a trauma center for a month, airlifted from the helicopter, 4.5 months in a rehab hospital. And I realized at that time, when that happened, it was time for me to really walk the talk that I'd always taught my children and always have shared and done everything with anybody in my life. And so a couple of those are going to be some success thoughts now within this story again. And one of them is, I have always said to my children, I've been taught by my family, that you never use the words can't. And they would always say, don't say can't, don't say can't, don't say can't. Well, it wasn't until years later I had my own business. I went to my parents and said, you know what? I thought of a better way to do this. I don't want to use the words can't anymore either, because what it represents to me, I created acronyms. You'll see I do a lot of that. So an acronym for can't is I certainly am not trying. Okay. If you say I can't, I certainly am not trying. I believe for parents on this phone or Zoom now, or people who are grandparents, or people who have no children, who have no children, I should say, not have no children, who know children. I believe you should really get off the Zoom, talk to the people who have children, tell children that are around you that you're going to stop telling them they can't. I would want you to say to a child, you know what? I'm no longer going to say you can't go here, you can't do this, you can't buy this. From now on, I'm going to say, I'm choosing not to let you go here today. I'm choosing to do this, even though it's uncomfortable. It's all about choices. And that's what's helped me with my life. From the time when I realized what my dad did. Some of you have heard this. My dad started the Federal Witness Relocation Program for the entire federal government. There's books about him, stories about him. I grew up with knowing how to be careful, but I didn't let that fear keep me from enjoying life. I knew there were things that I could do to protect me. I had to make choices. I had to do things some other people didn't maybe do because I wanted to be careful at that time in my life. So when I say the words can't and choice when it applies to business, and I say to you, I want you to teach children these important concepts, I believe it's what's made the biggest difference in my entire life, from being in an accident with 5.5 months in a hospital, still living with challenges from it. I was married for 29 years, found in a situation that I needed to be in a divorce. I'm very happily married to Bob, who you've met now, so that was a good thing. Every time, even during COVID, some of you business owners like me, I'm sure, are feeling, okay, what's next? How long is this going to last? What's the impact going to be? I always think the only thing I have the power to do is choose. I can choose my own thoughts. When I was going in for 8 operations in 5.5 months, I am terrified, which I'm sure most people are, of surgery. I would choose to fill my mind with things. I would take 30 seconds, 60 seconds and think about my favorite place to go, or a cruise, or my grandchildren, or anything. I would just choose to get rid of the thoughts. So here's what I want you to do. Really, this will make this whole time with me worthwhile today for spending time with you. If you share with a parent that instead of using the word you can't go here, I'm choosing not to let you go here, because I think it's the most powerful thing they can do for their entire life. And I'll tell you why. Imagine a child who's a good child, a 12, 13-year-old, when they're starting to go out a little bit on their own. And another child they're with says, let's go do this. And that child of yours, who's a great kid, they know they shouldn't go there. And they say, oh, no, I can't. What's the other child going to say to your child, that child? Sure you can. Sure you can. Because that's what we say to children when they say, I can't. Sure you can. Okay, they've learned it. But now imagine a child who's grown up with hearing the words choice. I'm choosing not to, I'm choosing to. And they look at that other child and they say, hey, I am choosing not to go there. It is the most powerful, powerful, powerful success thought. Choices, 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 choices. I worked full time as a social worker. And one day I just had it. I had been working and helping other people. And I thought, I am missing my kids' lives. They're 1 to 10 years of age. I went home and I said to my husband at the time, Jim, I said, I have just decided I have got to make a different choice. We have to figure out how I can quit working and do something else, because I've just got to figure this out. Well, he was very nice. And at the time he said to me, no problem, we'll figure it out. I said, great. I went in and I gave my 2 weeks notice, came home that night, and Jim said, we're going to have to find some time in the next couple of days to talk about how we can afford for you to quit work. I said, we don't need any time to do that. I did that today, because when he said we'd find a way, I thought that's it. And so when you're building a business, whether you have an insurance business, real estate, whatever kind of business it is, direct sales business, chiropractor, doctor, there's all those times when we have to think about choices. And sometimes I think living with the process of making a choice is so much tougher than living with the choice. And so one of the things I realized when I came home from work, suddenly, of course, because I did it right away, was, oh, wow, my paycheck was paying for the car payment. Oh, yeah, the ballet dance lessons. Oh, yeah, well, what am I going to do now? And someone said to me, oh, you should go into sales. You would be great at it. I was so insulted. I didn't want to talk to this woman anymore, ever again. I thought, what does she think of me? I'm not pushy. I'm not aggressive. Why is she thinking this of me? And so when I went home and I mentioned it to Jim and I mentioned it to my parents and other kids, and they were all like, you'd be great at this. And I thought, oh my gosh, I've always tried to be the opposite of what I thought a salesperson was, which is aggressive and pushy. And then I realized they haven't been aggressive and pushy. I've been a wimp all these years. I've never been able to really communicate with people. I've never really been able to say, that's not of interest to me. And I thought, wow, with 5 kids and them watching every minute of me, I'm going to become confident. I am going to become confident. I'm going to learn and teach myself a language to share with people so that when I'm talking to them, the first thing they'll think when I have my business is they're cared about and valued. I guess I was sort of silly. I've never experienced some things I hear people talk about on this call. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to belittle it or make light of it, but I've never experienced rejection because I've never thought when I shared something was about me. I didn't need them. So how could they be rejecting me? And I always love to share this story as an example. If I was visiting Las Vegas, Joe, we used to live in Las Vegas, so it could have happened, but my kids were older, so you have no fear. But if Joe had lived and I lived in Las Vegas at the same time and my kids were growing up, and Joe and I worked together, and all of a sudden I needed some help, maybe I needed him to watch Michael for me because suddenly I had to go somewhere and my, childcare person couldn't get there. And I called Joe and I said, Joe, I really need you to watch Michael for 30 minutes. Could you just do this? I've got to catch a plane. And if he said, no, I'm not able to, actually, I have plans to go shopping. Okay, then I'd have felt rejected because I had a need. Here's my friend, and he's not even fulfilling my need. If I call Joe, and I don't have that need to go catch a plane, but I just wanted to do something or share that I was going somewhere. And I said to him, hi, Joe, it's Eileen. I was wondering if you weren't busy, if I could drop Michael off for 30 minutes and then Bob's going to pick him up. Is that possibility? And if he said to me, oh, I'd love to, but I'm picking up a friend at the airport and I'm not able to do it, I would say, oh, great. Is this a friend you've known for a long time? Oh, well, have a great time. I hope I get to meet them. Because there was no need. There was no need. Mailbox Power is a company where people need it in their life to help people feel cared about and valued. And so when people say to me, so how are you sharing this? How are you doing this? Well, I want to believe that everyone wants to make people feel cared about and valued. Some people will choose not to. That doesn't mean I don't choose to share with everyone in case they're the one who has that need. And that's the clear reason I think everyone that you hear speaking here, there's so many of you that are so successful. And Joe, it's interesting when you talk about me sort of not talking as much on the calls. Bob and I had, he's over across me watching here, being sure our dogs don't make a lot of noise. So I'm going to tell some secrets about him for a minute. But Bob and I would have this discussion about people and how some people are outgoing and, that outgoing people are this or that. I don't know. We were just talking about positive things. And I would say, you know what? Well, you probably aren't going to like me because I don't consider myself outgoing. What I want to be known as is friendly and caring. And if we were at a party right now, the people next to me, I would be talking to, asking them questions, finding out about them, but I wouldn't be out there necessarily speaking up. It's sort of like when you all are talking and I think, okay, I'll say something, but I'm just not the person who just goes out there and says, oh, Joe, I have something to say. It's not what I do. What I do, though, is want to be sure that each and every one of you would know you could talk to me, ask me questions, message me. Of course, I'm happy to help. I'm happy to do something like this because it is storytelling. And Joe loves stories. I know that. And he loves stories. And I can tell you so many stories, but we only have another 10 or 15 minutes. We all have to get to work. But my main mission is that you are so clear on what I call the 3 Ps. Okay, the 3 Ps. This is something that really has helped me in different stages of my life and stages of business, wherever you are. First is a purpose. Really be clear on your purpose. And there's three of them I want you to be clear on. A tangible purpose. Okay, let's just talk about Mailbox Power. Every one of you are using Mailbox Power in some way, whether you're doing it as an affiliate, whether you're doing it for your business, and most of us are doing a combination, I think. Okay, so there's a purpose that I call a tangible purpose. We show up to work because of the money. Sometimes that's what takes us there. Okay, I've been blessed and fortunate that I show up also for other two purposes, and I hope you'll share in them. You've got tangible. Everyone knows that one. Everybody's showing up at work, even if it's a job they don't like, because of that tangible money. We get some money, we can do something. Personal growth. I love personal growth. And so to me, being connected, whether you are just, I'm using it as a customer to help other people, you're not an affiliate. Okay. Everyone's going to grow personally by being a part of a group who wants to make a difference in how people feel. There's no way you're not going to grow when you're connected to a group of positive people, like all the people in this program. So when you're talking about this, whether you're doing this and you're doing it as a gold customer and you have other friends who might be interested in it, I would say to people that I've discovered a program that helps my customers feel special and cared about, because they might not know about it. So that's a reason to share even as a gold customer. You don't have to be an affiliate to really want to make a difference in how people are feeling. Third purpose is so easy for this group. You want to do something that contributes to the lives of others. Oh my goodness, that's so easy. It's a no-brainer here. I mean, sending a card, sending a postcard, sending some brownies, sending some blondies, whatever you choose to do, you're going to make a difference. You're going to contribute to the lives of others. So that's one of the P's, but it has 3 P's. Okay. Passion. Here's something I really want to address. I want each one of you after this to feel more compelled than ever to share Mailbox Power. Not because Joe wants you to, or Justin, or Vanessa, or Casey, or other leaders here, or, for those of you who are using it as a gold customer, as an insurance agent, or real estate agent, I don't want you to use it because you feel you have to in order to succeed. I don't want you to feel committed to it. Joe may think, why am I like having her on here? I don't want you to feel committed to using it. I want you to feel dedicated. Committed you do because you have to. Dedicated comes from the heart. You don't ever have to, I never turn off wanting to help someone. I always teach rejection. Like if I was at a store and I offered to open a door for someone, I said, oh, can I get the door for you? And they say, oh, no, thank you. I don't think, okay, that's it. I will never offer to open a door again for someone. 2 minutes later, there could be someone who I could help open a door, and I offer. But that goes back to where I've never felt rejection. I always ask people to substitute a word. When someone says no to you, do you really feel rejection? It's really about you, or is it really more disappointment that they're not saying yes? And if you're feeling disappointed that people aren't saying yes, then I feel you're just not sharing enough, because there's plenty of people who will choose to say yes. They'll choose. So with passion, it's not because you have to. It's not because you feel committed to. It's because you're dedicated and you want to. And so then the plan, which is the third P, purpose, passion, and plan. Plan, it's easy because you incorporate something that I call structured flexibility. And this is how I've built my entire life, with structured flexibility, probably out of necessity with 5 children. I could have the best plans for the best day, but you never know what would happen at our house. So did I throw out the plan? No.
You're muted, Eileen.
There. Are we all right now? Can you hear me now? Okay. So structured flexibility. Structured flexibility is a choice as to when to do something, not if. So if you're someone who likes to make a list, you don't have to feel bad if at 10 o'clock, or 12 o'clock or 4 o'clock, you think, oh my gosh, I have so much to do. Instead, I like to have what I call a day of mini, mini celebrations. Bob probably drives him crazy, but MANYMINI celebrations. So that I could say, okay, between 9 and 12, well, I've got 11 o'clock call I've now blocked out for banner season or mailbox power. I have my coaching calls I have to do. Oh, then I want to be sure I call my mom. Okay, so between 9 and 12, I'll plan this out and I'll go, wow, what a great morning we had, Bob. Wasn't it great? Then 12 to 3. Okay, what do I want to accomplish? So I'm just celebrating all day long. And the reason I do that is I never want to spend a day saying, where did my day go? I want to spend all day saying, what a great day I'm having, because of the choices that I'm making. And the refusal to say the can't, and the expectation of me to say I can. Another thing that I wanted to share with you is, I believe the reason I'm so excited about sharing whatever you have. I'm excited if someone's an insurance salesman, teaching them how to share, whatever it is. The reason I'm excited about sharing, teaching people to share, is when you share, you're always successful. Do you realize if you shared with 5 people a day, 25 a week, 100 a month, whatever profession you're in there, 100 a month, and out of 100 people, you had 20, 30 new customers, clients. I know everybody calls them different things. It wouldn't matter that 70 didn't say yes. It wouldn't matter. You'd be so excited to have 20 or 30 new whatever. But here's what I'm afraid is happening. I used to think people wanted instant gratification. I feel some people want magical gratification now. They don't even want to be willing to do those 5 a day, 25 a week, 100 a month. You notice I gave you a couple of days off, the weekends, if you choose to. It really can happen when you choose to share. It's all about really focusing on language when you share. And so I made a list of some of the words that I use. So I'm going to just show you how a negative and positive word can happen. Okay. For example, if you're afraid of sharing whatever business you have, of being pushy, can you think of it instead as, I want to be encouraging? I want to be an encourager. So to be an encourager, what do you have to do? You have to listen. It's not about what you know as much as listening. Okay, some people I know will say, you want me to ask them that question? That sounds pretty nosy. And I'll say, well, I guess you could look at it as nosy, or it could be taking the time to care and telling them that I want to ask you some questions that could really help me help you. And if there's a question you're uncomfortable with, just let me know. You can still ask the questions and let them tell you. Okay, talking at people or asking questions. Okay, doing something like this, speaking in front of thousands of people, for me is not what I like to do without even asking questions. I'll ask a whole audience doing, well, how do you feel? What do you think? I'm just so used to being sure that if I'm talking, I also ask a question. Knowing that we have limited time here, I'm refraining from doing what I normally would do to everyone with an audience, because we have a little time. We have to get back to work. But you can ask questions. And if you're someone who has a challenge with that, I always say, make a statement or two, then ask a question. Make a statement or two, and then ask a question. Okay, that will help. Okay, here's a good one. Manipulative. Some people, I used to think salespeople were really manipulative. That, in fact, I don't like things like, handling objections, closing the deal. Those words turn me off. But what I really want to do is be really informative. See, I have my own definition of sales, okay? Sales is something you want to be really skilled at. When you've shared something with someone and they want to put themselves in a position to make a decision about what you shared, then you want to be skilled. You want to be able to be informative. You want to answer their questions. You have to find out what questions they have. So that's not manipulative. I realized that as I grew my business. Okay, convincing. Some people say, oh, I worry about being convincing. Hey, you're never convincing, ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you, as long as you're just inviting. everyone, I have a statement I love to say that everyone loves to be asked about everything. There is no one who likes to be harassed about a thing. Everyone wants to feel included versus ever feeling excluded. So when Joe, you ask about the invitation and I'm talking to you about how I'll look and I'll notice people's birthdays or different things, because I really want to bring some joy and put some joy in their mailbox. And then of course, I'm going to ask them, how did it feel? Would you like to do a 15-minute Zoom with me so I could show you a little bit about how you can spread this and pay it forward? And whether your answer is yes or no, I hope I accomplished my goal of putting joy in your mailbox. And I believe a real estate agent and insurance agent, when you talk to people like that, they want to refer people to you because they do know how much you care. Okay, ambivalent and undecided. I think this goes with follow-up. Okay, because sometimes, I'll be messaging back and forth or talking to someone on the phone, and all of a sudden there's like this, what is it, crickets? Will you use that word, crickets? And is it they're ambivalent? I think they're just undecided. So I will go back to them and say to them that one of my goals is to be sure that I give you enough information to help you make a decision about whatever it is. So can you tell me something that you're really excited about or something you think will be really beneficial that I've shared with you? And can you tell me something that you might be hesitant about? So then again, we're in conversation. Now, fear or lacking confidence. It's interesting to me about fear and lacking confidence. I've been in situations where I'm sure you can imagine where I'd been threatened from someone from my dad's work, and some really scary things at times. But my parents have been so good at instilling faith into me that we have faith, that I have learned there is no room for fear when you have faith. There is no room for that. Many of you know my dad passed away in August, and our whole 5 weeks together before he passed away, every day, trust me, it was every day, we would have a conversation about what I would do and how I would go on and how he would be with me. And he only gave me a short time to not get back to normal. And he knew that I had grown up with all these things about feelings that I'm sharing with you today. One more, not now. What's that mean? Well, that could be negative, you could think. Or could it mean in the future? That's a positive way of looking at it. Not now or in the future. So my belief is that you always want to leave a conversation open. You always want to leave that conversation open. And you really want to say to people, and again, this could be opposite of most sales training you've ever heard, and so it'll just be a little different thing for you to hear today. I do let people off the hook. I will say, Joe, I'm getting the feeling that this is really not of interest to you today. And I never want to put you in an uncomfortable position and just not being able to tell me. So tell me, am I hearing this correctly that you're not interested right now? Or am I just not giving you enough information? And how can I check back with you in the future if you're not interested? What would be comfortable for you for me to do that? And that's helped me be able to go back and reconnect and follow up. Well, I'm just going to share one more story because I know time is wasting here. We're going to get back to work. Years after my accident, probably was about 5 years, Bob, after, someone from my office called me. I'd gotten back to work. It took a few years, but got back to work. And they said, "Are you sitting down?" I was like, "Why?" I thought something terrible had happened. And they said, "Well, I just got a call with an invitation for you to speak. And I'm not sure how you're going to feel about it." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" "Well, it's from a trucking company." "What do they want me to speak about?" Well, they decided after looking up information and knowing a lot about you, that you would be the person to come and speak at their convention about safety when driving. Because they said, what better than a motivational speaker and someone that was almost wiped out by a truck? I said, "Oh, wow, I've never done that before. He said, well, now I need to tell you who invited you. I said, okay, who? He said, the CEO of the company that with the truck that hit you. Now, we had gone through a settlement. Everything was, what I had hoped, I guess, at the time, not never enough, but it was okay there. So I said, you know what? I think I'm going to do it. Well, I immediately called my dad. That's how close we were. And I said, you're not going to believe this, because my dad had been involved in the mediations. He had gotten permission from the court to be, because he was an attorney, to be in there in all the mediations. And I said to my dad, you're never going to believe this. And I told him, he said, what did you say? I said, yes, because Dad, I'm going to get my day in court. He goes, that's my girl. So I was like, okay. So at the time, they had never told us. We did not know what had happened. They just settled. They crossed the highway, they hit us. Well, the CEO was introducing me to the truck drivers of the year. There's hundreds of truck drivers, and he took me over to this table. And when we walked over, one of them said, we want to apologize. You could be one of our wives, one of our daughters, one of our sisters. We are so sorry that the driver drove 4 hours over the legal limit. That was the first time I heard why I was suffering so much. I had no idea that he had done that. My parents, nobody knew that that's what had happened. There was some story or something. So I thought, okay, I was not happy, and I was due to talk like in 15 minutes. So I got up to talk, and I said to them, I'm going to tell you something right now. What I was about to say is very different than what I had planned. But I'm a speaker. I'm a trainer. I speak to thousands of people, and I can really be good off the cuff. And I'm changing my talk today, you see, because I just found out why I live in pain and suffered so much. And that's because one of you chose to drive 4 hours over the legal limit and fall asleep instead of doing what would be appropriate. And I kept talking and talking and talking. And then finally, I ended it with what I want to end with you in a little bit of a different flair, though. I said to the drivers, I'm going to make you all a guarantee right now. And that is, you can choose to drive so carefully, never do anything that could be thought of as a distraction. You just drive so carefully every day of the rest of your trucking career. And I guarantee you will never say, I wish I'd driven recklessly. And wipe out someone's family member, cause them to live in pain the rest of your life, their life. And I guarantee you'll live your life thinking, if only I hadn't. It's your choice. Well, today I want to say we have an incredible opportunity to make a difference in people's lives. Yes, a card makes a difference. I have thousands of cards in I don't know why, they're still in my brother's basement. Thousands of cards. He keeps telling me to come get them in my brother's basement. I read thousands of cards before my dad died and after he died. It makes a difference. And you can choose to send a card, a postcard, brownies, whatever you want, and reach out more and more to people and make a bigger and bigger difference. And you're rewarded. We are rewarded. We're always rewarded for doing the right thing and caring thing and paying blessings forward. It doesn't have to be from one individual, but when you choose your life to make a difference, it works. Thank you, Joe, for inviting me to speak with everybody.
Wow, 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 wow. More than I ever even bargained for, Eileen. You are absolutely amazing. And oh,
thank you.
My goodness. The absolute must watch of the week for sure. Wow. I'm touched. I'm impressed. I feel educated. I feel so many things right now, like I think everybody else does that's on this call right now. I'm sitting here watching tears. I'm watching smiles. I'm watching astonishment. And I just can't thank you enough. I can't tell you how thankful I am to have you as not only a part of this company, but as a part of us. as a part of these referral partners, affiliates, whatever you want to call us right now. We're in transition, which is fine. But your positive attitude, oh my goodness, you have been through some things. You have been through some things. And here you stand before us, shining as an example to the world of why be positive and why give. Thank you so much, Eileen. Everybody, how should someone reach out to you if they desire to do that? Where would you like them to find you?
Well, they can go on my Facebook as Eileen Meckley. They can reach out to me at eileen@eileenmeckley.com. My phone number is 954-993-5035. You can find me.
Oh my goodness, just like me. Goodness, open to the world. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, I'm going to do you a favor, and I'm going to put all the chat, and I'm going to send it to you in an email because it is truly uplifting just to read it alone.
Thank you.
So, thank you, and everybody have an absolutely blessed day. I couldn't be more thankful for all of you and for the power you bring to this morning call and what we have before us. I just wish we were in a room where I could hug you all, especially Eileen right now. And I know all of you hug her too, but that's one of those things we're missing in today's day and age. It will be back. We will one day stand in a room together where all of you can share a stage and see how powerful all of you are. So anyway, have a wonderful day, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. Yes, what did I miss? Nanette, anything?
Brenda at 2:00.
Oh, yes. Yes, it is Wednesday. Brenda at 2:00. Yes, don't forget. Yes, awesome. All right, everybody. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Peace out.